This video is the first in a two-part series. This is the C++ introduction tutorial. In this video, we will be creating a C++ Win32 application using Visual Studio 2010. First, I'd like to go over really quickly what we will be covering. We will go over briefly the include directive and namespace, int main, variables and where to initialize them, input and output, some simple math using those variables and outputting those variables. You'll also go over _getch and return 0. And finally, we will go over putting the program that we create into a while loop. At the top here, I included what we are covering in a multi-line comment. One other way that you can make a single line comment is using the /. Anything highlighted in green like this will not be read by the compiler. First thing we need to add to the program are the includes. And the first one will be the pound include less than IOStream. We will also include string. The include directive essentially links other more complex processes that are already predefined, such as IOStream, which is the input and output, and string. One other thing that we will be adding at the top is using namespace standard and a semicolon. The standard namespace essentially tells the compiler what set of characters we will be using in our program here. Next, we're going to enter int main, open and close parentheses, and curly braces. This main here, this is called a function, and this is where all of our main processes are going to take place. Now at the bottom of main, we will enter return 0. Return 0 essentially means that at the end of our program we're going to return 0 into main, which will close and shut down the program. In this program, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the user to enter two numbers, and then with those numbers we will add, subtract, multiply, and divide them. To start, let's initialize a few variables. In this program, we're going to use a float. This is essentially a decimal. So first we're going to enter float x, which will be the first number that they enter. We'll set that to 0.0, semicolon. In C++, we start with the variable type, which is the float, the variable name, which is x, then we initialize it and end the line with a semicolon. Now we'll do this for y, which will be the second number entered by the user. And then we'll do the same for add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And now we will cover our next topic, which is output. To output something, we simply type COUT, two less than symbols, and whatever we want to output in double quotes. Here we will type, welcome to the simple math program, C++ style. Now to end this, we could just use a semicolon, and that would be that. But instead, I think it will look nicer if we add something to make the cursor go to the next line. And to do so, we enter two more less than symbols and ENDL and put a semicolon there. The ENDL is the end line, which is essentially an enter symbol, like so, and we'll put the cursor at the starting of the next line. Another thing we can do is separate these two statements. For example, let's say we want to make this sentence on one line and then this one on the second line. What we'll do simply is we will close the parentheses here, add in two more less than symbols, put the end line, two more of those less than symbols, and another parentheses here. This will put welcome to the simple math program on the first line, and the next line, you'll write C++ style. Now let's save this, build it, and see what it looks like. Now I'm sure you saw that little window flash open and close. Now what happened was, it did the output, but right after it went straight to return 0 and it closed the program. Now to fix this, it's rather simple. Before return 0, you'll simply type underscore get ch, parentheses, and a semicolon. Now the program doesn't recognize it yet, so what we'll have to do is go up here and enter in a new #include. And for the get ch, we need to include conio.h. And now the squiggly underline here is gone. Now let's save it again, build it, and run it. And here we have it. Welcome to the simple math program, C++ style. The get ch keeps the window open until we press the enter key, which closes it and ends the program. And now we have that set up. let's do some inputting and outputting. Now before we input anything, we'll have to prompt the user. So we'll write cout enter the first number. End line. And then we'll have to wait for the input. To do input, we write cin into greater than symbols and the variable name that we want to enter the information into. So we'll start with x. And then we'll do it again for the y variable. Enter the second number. And then cin y. Now that we have data in these variables, what we can do is we can output the variables to make sure that they're working. And to do this, we simply write cout x. We'll put a space between them. Y. And an end line. I will save it and run it, and we'll see if it works. And here we have it. Enter the first number. We'll do 4, press enter, and it prompts us to enter the second number, 6, enter, and it outputs 4 and 6, which is x and y. Now that we have everything here working, we'll do some math with these variables. Now here what we're going to do, to start, we're going to add the x variable and the y variable and put that number into our add variable. And we'll do that with all 4 of these variables. And to do so, simply enter add, which is our add variable, equals x plus y, semicolon. And there we just added the 2 numbers. Now we'll do that for subtract, multiply, and divide. Subtract variable equal to x minus y, multiply equals x. Now the symbol for multiply is the star symbol, y, and divide equals x slash y. Now for your math, you don't have to put in any spaces between the variables, numbers, and symbols. But I like to, so it's easier to read what's going on. Now when the program runs, we're not going to see any of this math that goes on. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to output the final data. And to do so, we'll simply write cout sum of numbers is, and the variable name, and an end line. And we'll do that for all 4 of the math variables. And once we have that done, we'll save it again and build it and run it. And here we have, welcome to Simple Math Program, C++ style. Enter the first number. All right, enter 2. Enter. The second number, put 6. And here we still have it outputting 2 and 6, x and y. And then the sum of the numbers is 8. The second number subtracted from the first is -4. So 2 minus 6 is -4. The 2 numbers multiplied is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. And the numbers divided is 0.3 repeating. We'll press enter to close it. We have a working program. Now the program works, but what if the user wants to run it multiple times? As it is now, the user will have to run the program, and then it will close, and then it'll have to reopen the program. To fix that, we'll use a while loop. At the beginning of our code, right after the variables, we'll enter while, and then the curly braces. The first curly brace will start at the top and go down to right before the return. With the while loop, we'll not need to use the getCh, so we'll comment this out. Now in the parentheses, we're going to have to put something. And what we're going to do is at the end of the program, we'll ask the user if they want to run it again. And it'll also be a yes or no question. So we'll need to make another variable. I'll make that a string and call it yes, no. And a semicolon, of course. And in here, while yes, no is anything but no. So if the user enters y or yes or anything like that, the program will rerun. But if the user enters n or no, the program will close. In C++, to write that is while, in parentheses, yes, no is not equal to, which is exclamation point equal. These two symbols together mean not equal to. And in quotes, we'll put n. So while yes, no is not n, we'll keep running this code. Now at the bottom, we're going to have to put some user input for yes, no, otherwise it'll keep running and running and running. And to do that, we'll put a cout, an end line, and then we'll write, do you wish to run the program again? question mark. Please enter y or n. Another n line. And when you're typing it out, make sure you don't have any semicolons, otherwise you'll get these errors. And then we will input cin yes, no, semicolon. And we can save it, and we'll run it. Make sure everything works. Alright, welcome to this simple maths program, C++ style. Enter the first number, 2, the second number, 4, 2 and 4. The output of the numbers, the sum, subtraction, multiply, divide. And here we have, do you wish to run the program again? Please enter y or n. We'll enter y. And it starts over again at the beginning of the code. Entered 5 and 3, ran all the code, and we're back at the bottom. Do you wish to run the program again? Enter y or n. We'll enter n, enter, and it closes the program. And here we have a nice simple math program. In the next video, we'll cover some error handling and how to separate things into multiple functions. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.